Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It's an extra bright and early edition of Artist in Recovery. It is 4 a.m. bright early here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I came across a couple stories from the Trump rally that just happened yesterday in Cullman, Alabama that I have to talk to you guys about. I had to get this story out before the hurricane today. All right, let me talk about the hurricane. It has got a bullseye on right where I'm sitting, right here. We were notified by the electric company yesterday that we could easily expect to be without power for 10 days to a couple weeks or more. Easily. We're expecting 500,000 power outages. Total devastation in the beach areas around Madison, the Hammonasset, some of the areas I go to. And one of the reasons, too, it's going to be a Cat 1. It might get up to Category 2 by the time it gets to Long Island Sound. The reason it's so devastating for this area, too, is they were describing yesterday how usually when these hurricanes hit the more southern areas, there's more palm trees, and palm trees don't have as much foliage. And they take the winds a lot better. Around here, we got a lot of old growth maples and oaks and elms that just, when they come down, just devastate everything around, just annihilate the houses, the homes, the cars, the power lines. It just flattens everything. And then we have a lot of very old homes that are easily over 300 years old around here too. Some of those bear the brunt of the hurricane better than some of the new homes, seriously. But anyway, I wanted to get this story out and then have time to recharge my camera, my phone, my computer, everything, have time to recharge it up to 100 before the winds hit, maybe around noon this afternoon, because I don't know when I'll be able to charge the stuff again. All right, this is the story that I wanted to talk about. The Trump rally, Cullman, Alabama. Oh my God, I gotta talk about this. Let me talk about there's three things I want to talk about. All right, he suggested to his audience, to those loyal Trumpers out there, that they get the COVID vaccine, and he got booed for that. Now this makes me think of Frankenstein and his monster. The Trumpers out there, it's taken on a life of its own. I think Trump has pulled out the very worst in people: the hate, the fear, jealousy, envy, all that, and it's just become this cult that follows him, and will probably move on for many years beyond him, to probably, well, from what we've seen with other politicians like Marjorie Taylor Greene, to even worse examples of Trumpism as we move into the future. That's what we have to look forward to. But these guys booing him when he actually said something that was actually semi-intelligent, and useful, just shows that how what he's created has moved beyond him. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to talk about, how he got booed. Also, I'm going to have two links down below. Okay, one is going to be for a Midas Touch video, America's biggest embarrassment. And you guys, I've seen a lot of Midas Touch videos. This is one of the best. One of the worst. It just demonstrates what a complete embarrassment this man has been to this country and the people that follow him. I don't know how anybody could watch this video and argue against Trump being a complete moron. All right. Okay. The second thing in this rally that I want to talk about is once again, of course, he's going to bring up the big lie. This is what he said. He said, "We've got evidence. We've got more than enough evidence coming out very soon." I forgot how he said it exactly. Not ample. That word's too big for him. More than enough. We got extra evidence. Something along those lines. You'll see in the video. But once again, he uses this thing. We've got more than enough evidence, and it's coming out real soon. I think he said next week. How many times have we heard this before? Seriously. 5 years ago, Donald Trump said that his taxes were being audited, and he was going to show you guys next week or as soon as he can. It's 5 years later, and he's fighting tooth and nail to still hide those taxes. Anytime he says it's coming out shortly next week, means you will never see it. All right? What about when he said Obama was bugging Trump Tower? Remember that? The toaster and the microwave? The microwave was being bugged by Obama? Seriously. Trump says this. I'll have the evidence next week. That was a good 4 or 5 years ago. Never saw it. There's no evidence. These are tells. And I'm going to talk about a big tell coming up right now. All right, here's the big story. When I saw this one, I had to talk about it to you guys. All right, Trump talks about a 5-year-old child who told him that it'd be a good idea that leaving the military in Afghanistan and taking out the people and the weapons and all the equipment first would have been a better idea. A 5-year-old, Trump talks at this rally about how a 5-year-old gave him military advice. Swear to God. All right, there's a couple tells. Again, you got to see the video, because when I first read this, I was like, yeah, right. You got to see the video. All right. So he talks about, he puts down Biden, right? And about how Biden should have taken the weapons out, because now supposedly the Taliban's got are taking pictures with all U.S. weapons and all that. A big story coming out, coincidentally, and I'm going to put the link down below, is that Stephen Miller and Donald Trump, this is from somebody that was savvy to these meetings, that they put the kibosh on getting the people and the equipment out ahead of time, especially the people. That Stephen Miller and his views, they just totally sidelined the idea of getting any Afghans or any people out of Afghanistan, like before Biden took office. This is an up and coming story because he's blaming it all on Biden. All right, so back to this 5-year-old. All right, so he talks about how he says to this 5-year-old, wouldn't it have been a better idea to take the weapons and the people out and leave the military in? And then Trump imitates the child. What supposedly the child said to him. Trump imitates the child and he goes, "Yes, sir, that would have been a better idea to leave the military in." Okay. Right. Wow. And then he goes on to say that his advisors advised him about not telling this story. Okay, where do I start here? This is where I use my expertise from being a big fat liar and manipulator for 25 years, a drug addict. This is where it comes into play. There's a couple things here. I think he's telling the truth. I think he's using an old drug addict tactic where he's got a little bit of a story and he puts a big spin on it and embellishes it and changes things, and this is it. And it's really a bad idea to tell this story in the first place because it doesn't make any sense. How could a 5-year-old's advice possibly? What's his point? Is he trying to make the point that even a 5-year-old knows better than Biden? Is that the point he's trying to make? Because that's not the point that's coming across. The point that's coming across is that he's putting more weight behind what a 5-year-old says than anybody around him. That's he's putting more thought and more consideration and weight behind a 5-year-old's ideas than all the advisors and people around him. And this is the guy that was president of the United States. All right. Okay, some of the tells. When he repeats what supposedly somebody said to him, and he uses the term "yes, sir," like somebody was talking to him, called him sir, that's a tell. That's a tell that he is lying. All right, I'm going to put the links down below because there's dozens of examples of him doing this before, where he said that people addressed him "yes, sir," and it's a tell. It is a tell that he's embellishing. All right, another tell. Now this one, I'm going to actually give him credit. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because this one is where he says the advisors advised him not to tell the story. That tells me right there that this probably is somewhere it's a real story. There's a bit of reality in this. I believe that someone told him, I definitely believe that someone did tell him not to tell this story. That I believe. All right, what I figure here is he's probably talking to, I guarantee, what 5-year-old's going to be around Trump? His grandkids. It was probably one of his grandkids. Whatever grandkids he's got, I don't know, and I really don't care. Trump Jr., Eric, I don't know. There's little kids from the family. All right. Now, you say anything to a 5-year-old. Now, what if I was talking to a 5-year-old, or if I was a grandpa and I was talking to my grandkid? Anything a grandfather or an adult, like an older adult like that, and kids can sense that everybody in the room is probably scared of Donald Trump, and kids can sense this. They're going to agree with anything he says, but more than that, a 5-year-old's going to agree with anything as long as you say it with a smile on your face. I could go to a 5-year-old and go, wouldn't it be great if dogs could talk? And a 5-year-old would go, yeah, that'd be great. I could go, wouldn't it be great if I could turn into a frog? And a 5-year-old would go, yeah, Daryl, that would be great. You know, no wonder the advisors told him not to tell this story. That makes the fact that he tells this story like it's supposed to make Biden look bad. It just demonstrates that he has no judgment when it comes to taking advice. When it comes to taking advice, mainly, that he doesn't have a concept of reality. He really doesn't. So I'm going to have this video down below. Again, the fact that he thinks, and the whole crowd cheers. The whole crowd, yeah, and you can see. I always watch the people in the background, and they're loving it. They're like, yeah, and I just lose this much more respect, as if there's any left to lose for the Trump supporters in that audience. There's none left to lose, but all right, you guys got to see this video and tell. I think it's going to go down as one of the. Oh, and then I got to bring this up too. Dunkirk. He a couple days ago, he related Afghanistan to Dunkirk, and we all know, World War II. We all saw the movie Dunkirk, where it was a big success, where all these boats came in and took the people out of England, our soldiers out of England. That gaffe, and that was a gaffe, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's no comparison between Dunkirk was a complete military success. So if that's what he's trying to say, I don't get it. It's almost as bad as his airports in 1776 speech, which is pretty much what started my entire channel, like 4 years ago. If you look at my other channel, this and that, I think I still have that video up there. All right, I got to prepare for the hurricane. I would have talked longer on this. I see I'm already long on time. You guys have a great Sunday, and stay tuned because I'm going to get as much video of this hurricane as I can. All right, you guys have a great Sunday and stay safe.